Thank you very much for visiting our video focused on the best stocks to buy in Africa now. What I'm going to do during this video is to explain why you should be interested in investing in Africa and how you can invest in African shares and bonds. I'll also explain a little bit about us and how to keep updated on the best shares to buy now in Africa through our free monthly updates on investing in Africa. So in our opinion, Africa is perhaps the most exciting investment destination globally. We've got a long track record in Africa's investment world. Within the team at the moment, we've got members who've run an African stock exchange, managed the largest Pan-African equity fund globally, run stockbroking companies in Africa, managed a stock exchange listed company, and built up the AFSIC Investing in Africa conference, perhaps Africa's leading investment event. So I think that we're really well positioned to assist you on the question of what are the best shares to buy right now in Africa. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then you'll find all the relevant links in the description below the video. If you're already on our website, then all the links will be on this page. To save time, I won't expand further on our experience and on our team, but you'll be able to find out more by following the About Us links. I also strongly recommend that you follow the subscribe to our mailers link in the description below so we can send you a monthly email update on Africa's debt and equity markets completely free of charge. There are a substantial number of reasons why we believe Africa presents an incredible investment opportunity for those with a long-term outlook, including the fact that Africa is really undiscovered from a global investment perspective, resulting in what we think are very low valuations, both in African debt and equity investments, which offer, we think, attractive entry points, especially when compared to valuations in many more developed markets. So at the moment, PE ratios are mid-teens and return on equity is mid to high 20s. In addition, and very importantly, Africa is experiencing a massive population boom. Currently, 17% of the world's population is African. At current rates of growth, Africa is growing by the equivalent population of France every 2 years and is going to double by 2050. It's expected to double again between 2050 and 2100 to 4.3 billion people and to account for as much as 40% of the world's population. So why is population important? Well, since the 1960s, Africa's GDP per head has been growing as Africa has developed. Unless that trend changes, in other words, Africans start becoming poorer, something we think really unlikely, then the strong demographic growth will lead to strong GDP economic growth as a matter of fact. So in common with many other countries that experienced rapid growth in the working age population, we expect Africa to benefit substantially from a baby boom. So in this context, it's worth noting that the developed world is aging very rapidly, and now even China is seeing its working population shrink annually. We should remember that Africa's economic growth is coming off a low base, translating into GDP growth rates that are significantly higher than in more developed countries as the continent plays catch up, and in many cases jumps ahead with the use of new technology or methods of operating. For instance, in the field of renewable energy, online education, and so on. Africa therefore provides access to growth, and we see this in the higher earnings growth rates of many listed corporates. In fact, we believe that market capitalization to GDP is the lowest globally from a regional level, and as such, investors are likely to benefit from capital market growth in the coming decades. Of course, the arrival of the internet and other forms of communication, such as mobile phones, will increasingly lead to global companies offshoring their operations in Africa to benefit from relatively low wage costs and an increasingly well-educated workforce. And that's something that we do ourselves with our own company. All the time, more people are coming into the African workforce, rapidly as electrification is happening fast in Africa, as the need for large power plants fed by, in most cases, imported coal falls away to be replaced by solar and other forms of power generation that are considerably less expensive to implement and which don't require such an extensive power backbone as is found in countries that electrified earlier. So the workforce is also being bolstered by rapid urbanization in Africa as the population moves from the rural areas into the cities where they're more likely to benefit from formal employment. And finally, Africa's benefited from significantly improved monetary and fiscal policy over the past 3 decades. And this has resulted in, among other things, lower interest rates, manageable inflation levels, stable currencies, and African public debt levels that are low compared to those in developed markets. So now, having discussed the broad economic conditions that look, in our opinion, very favourable for Africa's emergence, it's our opinion that Africa is following Asia's development path, and the coming decades will see a strong rise in incomes, continued reduction in poverty, and substantial economic gains for the investors who get in early. So as a reminder, if you'd like to be kept updated free on Africa's debt and equity markets and the best shares to buy now in Africa, then please do follow the links below this video and subscribe to our mailers. So having set the economic case for investing into Africa, let me talk some more about how to invest into Africa. You already may know that Africa is a diverse continent with a huge geographic size, equivalent to the US, Western Europe, India, China, and Japan combined. There are 19 stock exchanges on the continent that offer access to some of Africa's high-growth stocks. We believe that in general, African stock exchanges are undervalued compared to developed stock exchanges, and that many stocks offer exceptional value, bearing in mind the likely growth that we expect Africa to experience in coming years and decades. When global appetite for investing in African debt and equity assets rises, it will probably lead to a sharp and sustained increase in share and bond prices as the demand comes from a relatively low base. As such, we believe that now is an excellent entry point for investors into Africa. The South African and the Egyptian stock markets are diverse by sector, while the Nigerian stock market is driven by oil production and the Kenya Stock Exchange by agriculture. New sectors have become evident on African stock exchanges in the last decade, such as telecommunications and consumer companies, and we expect this trend to accelerate. So how to invest into African stocks? The comments that I'm going to make assume that you're looking to invest into shares, equities, bonds, or other traded products in Africa. It also assumes that you are not an institutional investor, or in other words, a professional investment firm. If you're looking to invest into other asset classes, or if you are a professional investment firm, then please contact us for more bespoke advice. And as a reminder, do subscribe to our mailers to get free updates on the best shares to buy now in Africa. So there are essentially three options for a non-institutional investor to invest into African shares and fixed income or debt products. Your first option is to invest into an Africa-focused fund. Professional fund managers search the African continent for the best shares to buy now in Africa, and using their knowledge of recent currency movements, up-to-date assessment of the political situation in countries across Africa, and the movement of fund flows into and out of stock exchanges on the continent, the professional fund managers will select the most appropriate investments for their fund. When you invest into a fund, you're investing into a parcel of shares that together should make up a diversified portfolio, allowing you to benefit from Africa's future growth. We're related to an African fund management company called Adventis Limited. So your second option is the purchase of an African exchange-traded fund. Buying an exchange-traded fund, or ETF, has become a normal part of investment in the States and other developed nations. Low trading costs and simplicity of purchase are major reasons behind the surge of interest in ETFs. Unfortunately, buying an ETF is not necessarily the answer for making an investment into Africa. There are a number of reasons behind this, including the fact that an ETF will have to purchase shares on a multitude of different stock exchanges. There are 19 in Africa, with different brokerage and underlying commission charges. So regular trading in some stocks might be expensive both from a commission and a trading spread perspective. Also, a passive approach to investing into Africa might result in your investments being subject to currency rate depreciation that an active manager might have been able to foresee. Your third option is direct account trading with stockbrokers on Africa's stock exchanges. You may want to consider opening a stockbroking account with leading brokers in one or more of the fastest African countries. This can be quick and easy, and brokers will be able to provide you with up-to-date stock recommendations. It's important that you do your due diligence on the brokerage firm carefully. Are your assets separated from company assets? What is the stock exchange's policy in the event of a broker going bankrupt? Larger brokerage firms may have more trading liquidity, but also the level of service that you receive may be lower than that of more smaller firms, bespoke firms. ASEA, ASEA, is the official organisation for Africa's stock exchanges. You can review their website and discover which African countries have got stock exchanges, and from there research which stockbrokers you'd like to use to purchase or sell investments direct. So thank you for listening all the way to the end of the video. As a reminder, if you'd like to get free monthly updates on the best shares to buy now in Africa, then please do subscribe to our mailers by following the links below. Thank you.